day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to Red Ice Creations Radio. This is Henrik Palmgren, and we are coming to you from the west coast of Sweden. We are here on Thursdays and Sundays, but you can tune in 24/7 and hear us anytime you please through our radio archive on our website, RedIceCreations.com. We also have frequently updated news with articles, links to news and research that we consider to be of interest from around this planet and beyond. Our free radio archive extends back a year, but we have a member section on our website, and as a member you'll get full access to our archive that goes back to over 2 years, and also all the extended interviews that we do with many of our guests. This is an excellent resource if you want to dive deeper into many of the subjects that we discuss on this program. We also have articles, members forum, film and video material available for you there as well. You can find much more information about this on our website, RedIceCreations.com. And for this Sunday's program, we have a new guest with us, a researcher, author and lecturer that we've wanted to get on the program for a long time. We finally have David Flynn with us. He has done some fantastic research and lectures that I hope you are familiar with. If not, we hope to introduce you today to some of his work and give you a taste of some of the new material that he has been researching lately. David Flynn is doing really groundbreaking research on everything from ancient mysteries and origins of megalithic sites to illuminated fraternities, geometry, and with the connection to prophecy, scripture, 2012, and so much more. He's also the author of Sidonia, The Secret Chronicles of Mars. We'll talk more about David's books and lecture DVDs later in the program. I also want to mention that David is behind the Watcher website. The URL to this is basically mt.net/ and then it's a squiggle mark, Watcher. And for all those who can't keep up with that, I'm going to have this link on the website on the information page. Also other important articles you can follow along in the program that we'll all the topics that we'll be discussing here today. On the Watcher website you'll find a wealth of interesting articles and connection, but David has also written for other online magazines, and one of these articles is what we'll begin to discuss here today. We're going to focus on one of David's most recent discoveries on the Geoglyphs of Tiahuanaco. This is near Lake Titicaca in Bolivia, South America, and the possibility that this vast prehistoric network of earthworks was built by giants. And this is a very interesting subject, so stay with us as we go through some of the background and set the context for this story. So with that, let's say welcome to the program to David Flynn. Hi David, it's a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Henrik. I'm happy to be here.
Excellent. Looking forward to this very much. And as I mentioned there, we are definitely going to dive into this most recent discovery of yours. And we're going to skip a little bit of the standard background introductions, so to speak, today, simply because I want to discuss as much as I can of your research. It's brilliant, and there's so many connections and threads to all of this, so we'll definitely keep busy here for the two segments that we'll be doing. So basically, to kind of lead us into the entire subject here, if you will, David, tell us a little bit about how you made this recent discovery, how you kind of come across some of the material, and how you discovered these very kind of unnatural patterns, if you will, near the Lake Titicaca.
I was finishing up the last draft of my book, which is coming out soon. I'm thinking July 1st. And this book deals with the Temple of Jerusalem and Newton's work on it and its centrality in, at least when it comes to the Jewish sages' writings on it. And it's fairly obscure works that Newton has that deal with this temple and its idea of not only a religious centrality, but actually a time-centered centrality, which is very esoteric and kind of astounding. I was able to actually find that there were correlations in history between where a location of a actual civilization center was and its distance from this temple of Jerusalem, and a correlation with time. And this is what the book is about. It's called Temple at the Center of Time, And when I was looking at South America, because I'd known that there were megalithic sites there, especially Tiahuanaco, Tambo, Sacsayhuaman, these places in Peru and also in Bolivia, I thought there would probably there'd be a correlation there also. And so I took Google Earth, which is it's actually amazing sort of program. And I think if Newton were alive today, he would have been completely blown away by the actual facilities we have now with the World Wide Web and computer programs that you can have for free or with a song that would have cost a king's ransom to do in his day. Like even programs like for working through the Bible, like concordances and actual lists of languages that you can find now at your fingertips. Those things a scholar had to understand perfect Latin, they had to understand full Greek, full Hebrew to actually go through the Bible. Now it's easy to do. You can just go into online and find these things out.
Yeah.
So on Google, I found that they had actually upped the resolution of the maps that they have, and it was actually fairly recently. It was only in April of this year.
Mm-hmm.
They increased the pixel resolution of the maps, especially around Lake Titicaca. And I had zoomed in specifically over the megalithic site Tiahuanaco, and there happened to be some strange patterns that radiated outward from it. And the closer I looked, the more they stood out, the more they became significant and anomalous, because as you would move across the topography, you would actually see these things connected, a contiguous sort of carpet that laid out not only around Tiahuanaco, but from the shores of Lake Titicaca itself, into Peru, and into Bolivia, and into the Altiplano, that's on top of the Andes, almost 6,000 square miles of area completely saturated with these things. They were incredibly large. Also, you can actually find excised bedrock in the size of these hills and foothills and mountains around the Andes in this area that look like they've actually had chunks of rock taken out, many, many tons of this rock taken out. And they're actually measurable with the application on Google. You can find excisations that are about maybe 30 to 60 feet wide that go on for several miles. And this is in rock and other detritus of the area. These things are completely anomalous in addition, because the area is 13,000 feet above sea level. In fact, if tourists come to the area to check things out in La Paz, Bolivia, where they have the Museum of Bolivia, they actually hand out supplemental oxygen for the guests so that they don't get altitude sickness. They stay overnight.
Right.
So if you look at this extensive work, you realize that it would have taken an incredible amount of effort on a human scale. Many, many thousands of people over perhaps hundreds of years to do it. But if you start looking at the history of the area and what the Spanish chroniclers said about the Inca that inhabited the area, and what the Inca had to say about Tiahuanaco itself, and even these anomalous lines and geoglyphs that extend beyond geoglyphs too. I mean, there's ones that you can find in bedrock that have been covered over with sediment that was laid down during the Pleistocene. So that means that they were actually laid down before the Pleistocene, which goes back 13,000 years, because the geology of the areas is pretty concise. So what happens then is that you have to pay attention to what the earliest people that we know of, that we actually have a record of, that comes back from the Spanish chroniclers, what they had to say about the area. And basically they just say that the area had been inhabited from a time before the earth was